Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at Grand Prix Miami. My name is Ruben Bressler, and you recognize the gentleman to my left as Grand Prix Miami top 8 competitor Brad Nelson.
I don't know if they recognize me as that yet.
Well, I reckon.
Okay.
In my heart, you're already there. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
And you're possibly going to be the top overall seed.
I'm 1 or 2.
Nice.
Yep.
That's so for a Doom Traveler deck, always nice to have.
It's very good.
And for a deck with so many two drops, 3 drops,
Yep.
excellent to be outracing the Farseeks.
I mean, it's not only that. I like that I'm going to be on the play, but the other really good thing about this is the deck has so much play and it's like very underpowered. That's one of the things about Junk.
Right.
But I get deck lists now, so I get perfect information. I don't care if they have the information because it's so much more valuable to know how many removal spells they have, how many of the things I have to play around, what's their sideboard look for our matchup. Like, it makes my life way easier now that we get deck lists. So I'm really excited.
And so you're playing Junk Aristocrats,
Yeah.
which you have had a lot of success with in the last month and a half or so.
Yeah.
Last 4 standard tournaments, 3 top 8s.
No, in GPs.
Oh, the last 4 GPs you've entered.
The 4 standard
GPs you've entered, you have 3 top 8s.
And,
Well,
and the 4th is a top 16.
Sure.
I lost double winning in.
that's
But I'm feeling pretty good in these things.
underwhelming. Yeah, it seems good.
Yeah.
But you also have an open win with this deck.
Yeah.
Possibly your best success in recent memory, at least,
Yeah.
in standard with this deck. Why is this deck right in your wheelhouse?
So, I mean, ever since I started playing with Cartel Aristocrat, it's a very on-the-board deck, and I've always been an on-the-board player. So I started playing around with Act 2, and I just love it because I'm so much better with 7 permanents and 7 cards in hand, and I like seeing the interactions, and I can see them all, and I'm really good in combat because I spent so many years trying to get better at limited.
Sure.
So everything for my game is in this wheelhouse. Like this is my wheelhouse, and it's a bunch of interactions, a bunch of figuring out like multiple turns. And the reason I love the deck so much is that people will play bad against you. Like, this is a very difficult deck to play against. Most of the people are making more decisions against me than they are in any other matchups.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many things going on. There's so many things that are on the board that they see, like Faralls, Blood Artist, High Priest, Cartel Aristocrats, Scavenge, Flashback.
Yep.
There's just all these different things going on at all the same time, and it's amazing. I love playing this deck. It's probably my favorite in years.
Now you're playing, in the list that you won the Open with, you did not have a creature in your main deck with power greater than 2.
I did upgrade a little.
Today, you have a 5.
Yes.
You have Big Daddy Obzadot.
Obzy Wobzy.
Why did you decide to main deck Obzadot for this tournament?
So one of the things is I used to play Sorin, and I didn't want an Obzadot when I had Sorin, but right now the format is a little bit more aggressive. There's more hate towards this deck, a lot of Pillar Flames, a lot of anti-voice stuff. So Garruk is better in the grindy matchups where they're using more removal game
So you've
1.
replaced Sorin with Garruk.
Yes, and because I've replaced it, because there's more removal in the format, so the games are grindier, Garruk's more of a grindy planeswalker, and I want the ability in games where both of us don't have a lot of resources to get a very high impact spell that also is good against control decks, and Obzadot is by far the best in that situation. I think it's a very good card. It won me a lot of games, and that's the perfect one for any like fatty that I would play in the deck.
Now we have a deck tech up with Brad Nelson. Yep. You can go see that on our coverage page. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to discuss one sideboard card in particular that I really liked. I saw it and knew immediately what it was for, but I want you to discuss it. Smite.
All right, Smite is for me to have a 13-card sideboard for this entire tournament. It's just actually a challenge. That's my challenge.
I don't buy that for a second.
No, it's very good against like red, green, aggro, and the other like Jund aggressive decks. Anything with Ghor-Clan Rampager, but I've only played one Ghor-Clan Rampager matchup. It was good in that match, and it was a good removal spell. But I haven't seen any of those matchups, so I think there might be one in top 8.
I think there is. There was slightly less red-green this weekend because of the influx of Bant Hexproof.
Yeah, and it got smashed day 1 too, and so that was the sideboard slot for those matchups. It didn't really show up, but if you're playing this deck and your local metagame has a lot of red-green aggro, or if you're playing on Magic Online, I think that the Smites are absolutely phenomenal and they're really good. And the reason to sell you on it is all the cards in the deck are black mana. All the removal. So you sometimes get choked on black mana when you want to play Cartel and a removal spell, or Cartel removal, and you never have enough of black mana available, so it's a white removal spell, and that really helps on your mana when you're trying to double spell, which is what this deck wants to do.
It's also a great way to deal with Thundermaw Hellkite.
It's a great way to deal with anything attacking.
Sure, anything big that's typically difficult to deal with.
Yes.
Things like even things like Obzadot, opposing Obzadots. It's a 1-mana removal spell. For
I'll
pretty
never
much
board it
everything.
in against Obzadot.
Well,
but
obviously,
yeah.
but You know, if you
Yeah.
happen to see another enormous
Yeah.
creature coming at you,
Yeah,
it's another good one to
It's just
have.
yeah, it's just a removal spell for when you're playing against a very aggressive deck. When they're for the first 5 or 6 turns of the game, they're always attacking and you're always blocking. It's very good to just be able to have more consistent 1-drop removal.
So this is once again we think that you're in the top 8. We're
I
almost
hope.
positive.
Unless
We're
I
almost
do
positive.
something.
Unless something terribly drastic happens,
Yes,
you're in the top 8.
I would have to
Other
do
members,
something
other
horrible.
members of this top 8, we think, include Reed Duke
Yep.
and Matt Costa, and recent Pro Tour top 8 competitor Stephen Mann.
Yes.
Possibly Stephen Mann. He's probably around 8th. Very stacked near the top. What is in your memory? Do you remember a top 8 that had more stacked than this, aside from a Pro Tour, of course?
Oh,
in
a
Grand
Grand
Prix.
Some of what were they the Ravnica cycle of limited GPs?
Oh, sure.
Those things were stacked, like back to back. It was just like 8 players that were all just insane. To be honest, I'm kind of fried. I can't think back that
Sure.
far. Plus, that's not my mindset. But I would say
right.
like the Ravnica Limited. I just remember looking at those top 8s and be like, geez, like those it's like 7 out of 8 just like ringers or like very good Magic players.
Right.
So.
And this top 8 is probably going to be no different. You'll be able to try to exact your revenge on one Mr. Reed the Duke, and because that was a very exciting match that we had on camera. Brad, congratulations
Thank
once
you so
again.
much.
We're actually going to toss to that match right here with
Aw.
Brad Nelson and Reed Duke.
Don't relive it. I don't want to relive
The
that
folks at
anymore.
home want to see.
Aw.
Just so
this
cross your
just-
fingers and see what
Is
the
this
top
gonna be one
deck
of those
is.
like little videos where it just shows him like top decking everything?
No, I think we're going to show the whole thing because the whole thing was just great. Great Magic, and we'll be right back for top 8 actually here at Grand Prix Miami.
Wish me luck.
Looking to face a greater challenge? Take your game to a Grand Prix and see how you fare against the best players in your region, as well as top visiting Magic pros. Each Grand Prix features a $30,000 prize pool, and top finishers earn invitations to the Pro Tour. Upcoming Grand Prix include Kansas City, Calgary, Rimini, and Warsaw. For more information, visit wizards.com/Grand Prix.